Well, 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 well. Alrighty then. I'll now give you my perspective. Because perspective is how you see things from where you are. Into shit. Where you see things from where you are. One sec. Doesn't look like this thing is fucking proper. Let me back this fucker up a little bit. Alright. Alright. Well, hopefully that's better. What the fuck? I'm knocking shit around left, right, upside down, and backwards. Sort of like my go-to move. Oh, fuck. My perspective of spinal cord injury research, once again, its perspective is from where you view things and the experiences that you have as pertains to what you've done and how you receive that shit. Now, that being said, I'll do my best to exclude any names to protect the innocent. Or are they? I don't know. But my perspective as it pertains, spinal cord injury research, I got involved in this shit over 12 years ago. Probably a better part of 13 at this point in time. I was involved in over 24 either studies, trials, questionnaires, well, probably more than 24 if you put the questionnaires and shit like that, especially from after the whole fucking pandemic. Suck it. I fucking believe that's a pile of shit, but that's my perspective. Oh, by the way, you guys all vaccinated and shit like that? Story for another day. My perspective of spinal cord injury research basically stems from the fact that I got involved in this shit with altruistic views. I thought I was going to save the fucking world. I have been hung from the ceiling, you know, after being put in harnesses. I've been irradiated, MRIs, X-rays, CT scans, DEXA scans, ultrasounds, all this. Oh, jeez. 1 sec. And everything in between. If there was radiation going on, I was in it. 1 sec. Hey, baby.
Hey, Poopy, we're on our way home. We're going to stop at 7-Eleven and get some seltzer and buns. Do you need anything?
No, baby, I'm good. I just had one of the boys just stop by. I'll talk to you about it a little bit. I'm in the middle of doing a video.
Oh, okay. I love you. A little bit.
All right, baby. My perspective of that woman, fucking a goddess, a savior. Pretty much, we all have different views of the people that have saved our lives, and they've perpetuated our ability to do what we need to do so that we can be better people and have better lives. Now then, the pandemic and all the rest of that shit and how they shit that was absolutely just, once again, let's stay the fuck out of there, because well, your views and whatever it is, that's your perspective. Me, on the other hand, well, I got mine, and this is my perspective of spinal cord injury research. As I said, harness, hung from ceilings, irradiated. I have been, they put a magnet on my head for a while, transcranial magnetic stimulation, which by far I thought was the best. The fact that I can use this thumb, I attribute directly to that. They stimulated me at the same time. They were pumping magnetic pulses right into my motor cortex, into the hand area. And it was insane because you'd be like, I've done multiple videos on that. Maybe I'll put it in the description box below. Maybe not. Fucking A, if you're, hey, you know what? I'm tired of doing all that bullshit. That being said, let's get back. So, magnetic stim, what else? Robotics. I've been in the fucking Exo. I've been in the Indigo. I've been in the Rewalk. I've been in the, what's the new one over there? The Wondercraft. Wasn't in the Wondercraft very long. However, I think all those things are great. I think that they have very significant therapeutic uses and stuff like that. And if you get the opportunity to actually be strapped into one of these fucking things, it is a fucking e-ticket attraction, and it is badass. It's not functional. It's cool for, you know, getting your fat ass up, weight on the long bones, dealing with fucking bone density, which is very important. So, you know, if you get the opportunity, do some standing. It's very important. And if you get the opportunity, train. Fucking train. You never know. You might be the perfect candidate for whatever the fuck is coming down the pipe as far as research is concerned, that perhaps maybe would be significant. You know, in my experience, with the exception of the transcranial, everything else was just a pile of shit. One of the situations that I had a premonition at one point that I could have written the conclusion to, I wouldn't say all, but I'll go as far as to say most of the trials, studies, and everything else like that by the end of it. It was difficult for me to find any of the study papers that I was involved in, and it wasn't that the doctors didn't write them, but I would ask if I could take a good look-see at this shit, and it was always a vague response. And if it wasn't for the fact that, you know, I went through PubMed, and I went through a couple different things to find out, you know, what is the conclusion of walking in an exo as it pertains to bone density and stuff like that. I was able to find 2 studies that I was involved in. Well, 1 trial, 1 study. And, you know, like I said, I could have wrote the fucking paper. I truly didn't have a problem with the doctors. They were doing what they were doing in order to get the results that they wanted to get, but that was the situation. It's almost like they were fucking coming up with grants and things of that nature, and they knew what was going to happen before they even did the study. Towards the end, there was a couple different studies pertaining to blood pressure. You know, let's see, you know, if we take and we put your feet into ice, will that raise your blood pressure? If we give you drugs, I was involved in a midodrine trial, which is basically an amphetamine, midodrine, will that raise your blood pressure? However, that wasn't the real gist of that whole thing. The situation, what was that one? It was that they wanted to see your cognitive ability, whether it got better, worse, stayed the same, and stuff like that. You know, I've gone through, I don't fucking know, 8, 10, 12 IQ tests. I go anywhere from 125 up to 140. I'm not a retard, but I'm also not the fucking smartest girl. Yeah, you got it. You like these boobies? Come over here and suck your girlfriend's dick. I'm not the smartest, and I'm not the dumbest motherfucker. Now, there was nothing truly conclusive about that entire thing. And once again, I was just like, oh, geez, let me think about this. More blood-rich oxygen going to the brain. Let me think what this is. Oh, I'm going to go yes. But it wasn't a study about that whole thing. It wasn't whether or not you were going to get smarter or anything else like that. It's like, at any given day, depending on fucking at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, if somebody asks you what the pi square root of fucking 62 is, sometimes you know it and sometimes you just fucking don't. But you know it, but you just don't. You know, maybe your cognitive ability to recall was slightly off. Who the fuck knows? Shit happens every fucking day. You know what? Even fucking Superman is not Superman every day. Although I must admit, I sort of make it look easy and, you know what, you ever heard the term, what does Superman have for breakfast? Well, you know what, today I had a bunch of grapes, a fucking Pop-Tart, and a fucking apple. One of the things that started wearing thin on me is there is a discrepancy between expectancy, when you're expected to do something, and appreciation for what it is you just did. Now listen, I don't need fucking somebody to come over and touch my little fucking pee-pee and go like, oh, that's good, and get a fucking gold star. And, you know, every now and then be like, hey, nice job, especially at the end of the study, you know? Shawnee, thanks for showing up, good man. None of that shit existed. And as I said, I was involved with a lot of fucking big guns. Fuck that. I was involved with Dr. Gail Forrest, Dr. Haberman, Trevor Dyson Hudson, Dr. Peters, I actually had a conversation with Angelian, who's the broad down in Kentucky, Harkema and stuff like that. We were depending on what was going on and what wasn't going on and stuff like that. You know, some things I got, some things I didn't. But I was always in the fucking game. The stud muffin to me was Dr. Noam Harrell. That was a god. And one of his compadres, Dr. Jill Wecht. Even so, with Wecht, I sort of had an idea what direction this shit was going in. And that was the problem I ran into. I guess, you know, basically the point is, after a while you have an idea what's expected of you and stuff like that, and you go through the motions, but still, after 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 times, you got a pretty good idea what the end is going to be. Even before you fucking get on the horse, man. Oh, fuck's sake. Ultimately, I don't believe that what they're doing in most of spinal cord injury research, you know, there's also the epidural stim, which, you know, I think they're headed in the right direction with that whole thing, but anytime you need assistance from something that is some type of mechanical or electronic technological device, you're sort of fucked, because there's always going to be a failure rate. So like these fucking wheelchairs, man, shit happens, man. Gotta make this quick. The missus is on her way home. There is a Dr. Weiss Young out of Rutgers over here. He's a Chinese dude, he's over in China and stuff like that, but he's doing a much more invasive study. Now, I gotta tell you, I think he's headed in the right direction. I think the extreme that he's dealing with, where they lay you down, fucking slash your neck open, they cut open your fucking vertebrae, spread them, cut open the dura, which is that little thing that goes around your spinal cord, and they take fucking, what's that shit, stem cells, and they irrigate the entire thing from the top, before the level of injury, and the bottom after the scarring tissue. They irrigate it, they put you back together, fucking crazy laminectomy shit, put you back together, and they fucking whip your ass 6 hours a day, 6 months straight for, what the fuck? 6 hours a day, 6 days a week for 6 months straight. Me, I think they're headed in the right direction. But it's not approved in the U.S. And I also think it's a little extreme. But I think a level of this magnitude, extreme, is exactly what it is they need to do. All the rest of this shit is fluff, and it's fucking all lip service and all the rest of that shit. Like as I spoke to earlier, I got involved in this whole thing for altruistic reasons. I thought I was going to save the world, and if I could help someone else other than myself, I was like, that's cool. There was never even a remote possibility that was going to happen, because some of the shit that they were doing had nothing to do with the actual injury. All they were doing was finding out what would happen with your injury if they applied this force, or if they applied this intervention and everything else they got. At no given time, even with the transcutaneous, which I actually sort of thought was pretty cool. I did, you know, I got electrocuted for freaking, poof, like a year and a half. I'd like to believe that I got a little more trunk stability. But that being said, they went this far. They needed to go this far. I don't fucking know. I have a different theory on what they need to do. My suggestion, open the fucking neck. Drill a hole in the top of the spine, above your level of injury, below the level of injury. A very minute fucking hole, and I think honestly this should be taken care of by fucking robotics. There should then in turn be drugs shot into your fucking neck to break down whatever type of glial tissue or scar tissue. Oh, is that the name of it? I don't fucking know. More fucking tough guys going by. Give that a couple weeks. Let that drug do its thing. And I in turn think they should come back and then in turn inject stem cells into the fucking spinal cord. Not the cord, irrigate the area, much like what Weiss was doing. But unless they start doing something that's got a fucking bigger set of fucking gonads on it, and instead of this little pussyfooting around and trying to fucking just find out like, oh geez, let me think. If we stand him up for 4 hours a week for 7 months, we move him around in a robot, do you think that's going to either make bone density better, worse, or at best case scenario, just retard it so it stays status quo? Oh boy. Angry Quad. Over now. Fuck all that bullshit.